is led by a woman who is the general manager. And as she was detailing to us what everything is all about in her production line, she kept handing us over to another woman, another woman, another woman, and all of them so well skilled, are real products of our education system, but also what Toyota itself has been able to achieve in developing these wonderful skills. It's a real joy to see women getting into roles that were in the past thought to be the roles that are only played by men. So I'm saying power to the women of our country. Now, during my visit to Japan in 2019, I met with Japanese businesses and political leaders, and I called on Japanese car makers to strengthen their investment levels here in South Africa. And a few months later, at the second South Africa Investment Conference, Mr. Andrew Kirby came up to the stage to announce Toyota's new investment. Now, many people in South Africa tend to be dismissive of these types of announcements, and they said, well, they're just talking. And I'm particularly pleased to see that that announcement that was made has really led to the creation of so many jobs. What you are showcasing here, that it's 1,775 workers or jobs that have now been created through the announcement that you made at the investment conference. And I'll say, even if, many people can dismiss what was announced, we know that those investment conferences that we've been holding have a real impact, dramatic impact in the creation of jobs and in the attraction of capital into South Africa. And Mr. Kirby, thank you very much. I applaud you for having had the courage to stand up at that conference to make the announcement. Today we see real results, and thank you very much to Toyota as well. Because this is a vote of confidence by an iconic Japanese car maker in our country. Japan is a long-term and significant investor in South Africa. And Mr. Emai, thank you very much for your very kind words, and also for saying that you see South Africa as your second home. We're really pleased that Japan, as an investor in our country, has stayed the course. There are about 130 Japanese companies operating in South Africa, including, of course, Toyota. And many people, as you were correctly saying, Mr. Emai, are transported by Toyota vehicles in our country. Those investors include companies like Nissan, Isuzu, Sumitomo, and many others. The Corolla Cross investment of $2.6 billion is significant for the South African economy. Following the unrest in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng in July this year, Toyota was one of the first companies to affirm their continued commitment and investment in South Africa and in KwaZulu-Natal. I really appreciate the long view that Toyota has taken, because it sees the value of the company's presence in South Africa and the enormous opportunity that it has in years and decades to come. This is the confidence that we are engendering in companies and in investors in our country. Notwithstanding the many challenges and problems that we face, we are working very hard to ensure that we continue to create that conducive environment and climate for investors to invest in our country and to stay invested. Companies who stand with the nation during difficult times are companies that we will continue to support in years to come. And we will also seek to attract others to emulate those who have stayed the course with us. I'd like to acknowledge the local management for their expertise and drive to continuously improve the competitiveness of the plant in South Africa. It's pleasing to see and to know that you send many of your managers around the world, countries such as Thailand, Turkey, and many others. But it was also pleasing to hear one of the female managers on the floor saying, this vehicle here was put together without any much expertise from outside of South Africa. So in many ways, it is truly South African made, the intellectual property and the work that has gone into it and the expertise. And I applaud the leadership that you showcase today and many others and your engineers and your other workers. So I give you great applause as South African workers. We would obviously like to also thank the general workers in KwaZulu-Natal for building and equipping the plant in time, despite the challenging period, and ensuring that the Corolla Cross is ready for launch, which you enabled me to launch today. Workers are often the unsung heroes of daily production, and I want to acknowledge the contribution of the production workers to making world-class, safe vehicles that we and the rest of the world can drive with confidence. The auto industry is one of the drivers of our localization programs, as Minister Patel was saying. It is a significant contributor to GDP and accounts for more than 100,000 jobs in assembly and component manufacturing. It is a big magnet for foreign investment as well. The 7 local light vehicle producers invested a record of 9.2 billion rand in 2020, while the component sector invested nearly 2.4 billion during the same period. These investments are made possible, as I was saying, by an enabling policy regime in the form particularly of the industry master plan. Now, there were some people who were dismissive of these master plans, and we see a great deal of value in the master plans that we have been drafting, and we're still going to have a few other master plans, because they help to clarify policy, to attract investors, and to give us a clear sense of focus and also targeting. The new version of the master plan, the Automotive Production Development Program, came into operation in July this year. It provides investors in the automotive sector with what? Yes, policy certainty. But it also gives them confidence in making long-term investment decisions. The master plan calls for a globally competitive and transformational type of industry that actively contributes to the sustainable development of South Africa's productive economy. It also creates prosperity for industry stakeholders and broader society as well. Now, through the master plan, we aim to grow the industry in South Africa over a 15-year period to reach 1% of global production. Being the small economy that we are, this is a clear vision of what we want to achieve. We want to increase the local content of South African assembled vehicles to 60% from the current 40%. We want to double employment to at least 224,000 jobs. We're very clear of where we want to go. And working together with the various stakeholders, it gives us even a greater sense of clarity. In addition to improving manufacturing competitiveness levels, the plan seeks to transform the industry across the value chain to bring in Black South Africans and young people to deepen value addition. And it gives us an opportunity to bring in Black industrialists into this industry as well. And I'm really pleased, I was pleased to hear that a number of other contributors to the assembly process that you are involved in here are already coming through as Black owned businesses. Now, this investment builds on a relationship that stretches back many decades. Toyota is currently the market leader in South Africa with a 25% market share. The Corolla has been produced in South Africa since 1975. It is significant that South Africa is one of only 7 global locations for the production of the Corolla Cross. This is testament to the skilled, productive workforce and competitive plant here in KZN. During the plant tour, I met workers, as I was saying, who are passionate and committed, and I saw the value of the skill program the management has put in. As they assembled there, because this is election time, much as I got tempted to make a speech about, them voting, I knew that I had to stick to just the manufacturing process, which I know a lot about, as you can hear. The Toyota Cross will be exported, as I was told, to 40 countries across the continent. And it was pleasing to see the names of the number of countries on the production line that we are already exporting to. And this helps to give the green options to consumers on our continent, and also boosts the prospects of the African Continental Free Trade Area. I'm advised that the company will seek to ramp up its projected 4,000 hybrid vehicles planned for the next 4 years if availability of batteries does improve. This could provide great opportunities in the future for our localization process. Localization and transformation are critical pillars of the automotive master plan, and we are working with Toyota to ensure that the Corolla Cross is giving practical implementation to both these pillars. There are a number of initiatives by Toyota to improve local content and increase the number of new suppliers in South Africa from the global supply chain, as well as using and developing new suppliers locally, as Minister Patel also said. Industrialization through localization is a key pillar of our economic reconstruction and recovery plan, including the development of export competitive sectors that can expand the sales of South African-made products on the continent and beyond our African continent. Now, with 621 localized parts in the the Corolla Cross, as Minister Patel was saying, the localization level of the Corolla Cross will be higher than that of the standard Corolla produced here. I'm advised that there are 5 local suppliers for this new model, of which 16 of them are Black-owned companies. Now, these efforts will contribute to the common goal agreed at NADLAC to reduce the country's overall import bill by 200 billion rand over the next 5 years through producing more manufactured and agricultural products here locally. Now, Mr. Kirby has advised me that 575 new jobs have been created. And as he put it up there, as I said, it adds up to 1,775. This is a great contribution to our drive to increase jobs and to create jobs in our economy. The biggest challenge that we face is unemployment. Now, this is an excellent step moving forward to bring young people into employment and fight unemployment and poverty. It's also pleasing to have heard that the number of the engineers that were briefing us on the floor are engineers who came in as young cadets, if I can call them that, as trainees, and today they are well qualified academically and well experienced in as far as their skill base is concerned. This is pleasing. We cannot mark this historic day without recognizing and paying tribute to the legacy of Dr. Johan van Zyl, the former CEO and executive chairperson of Toyota, who sadly passed away in July this year from COVID-19. Dr. van Zyl was a passionate South African, but he was also a visionary who would be immensely proud of the launch of the Corolla Cross today. Before he passed away, he was chairing Minister Patel's green hydrogen panel, and he met with me as part of the ongoing engagement on improving business climate in South Africa. I was always deeply impressed whenever I spent any moment with Dr. van Zyl. So I was truly saddened when he passed away, and I took time to speak to his wife at that moment of sadness to comfort her. And I'm sure you yourselves here in Toyota, you felt a great loss as well. It is fitting that we are launching this hybrid vehicle a week before COP26. We have called on leaders of developed economies to support South Africa's efforts to green our economy and address our very ambitious climate change goals through equally ambitious grant and concessional funding support. We have identified 3 key priorities for climate action: for Eskom to reduce its carbon emissions, for electric vehicles to be produced here in South Africa, and for the green hydrogen economy to be fast-tracked locally. Government published a draft paper for public comment on the roadmap to the production of fully electrical vehicles, which will be taken further based on the discussions with international partners and the local industry. The launch of the Corolla hybrid is an important step in our path to transforming the car-making business into a green industry success story. It will take time and it will take a lot of hard work, but it is something that we must do. But today is about celebration, about a new milestone that we have reached locally. We as government join in the joy and in the celebration with Toyota, and I'd like to congratulate Toyota on this launch and look forward to seeing the Corolla Cross on our roads and many of our people driving it. I'd like to say that we should continue the work of building our economy together to improve our global competitiveness and to make excellent products that demonstrate the great potential of the South African people. We are a people who work hard, we are a talented people, And we demonstrated in many, many ways. And having the Corolla Cross being launched here today is a clear demonstration of our capabilities. And therefore, I thank Toyota for having taken up this opportunity to showcase what South Africans are capable of doing. I thank you. Thank you.
All right, it's time for a short break.